understand the work before us, we need to understand our present work and the events that are fulfilling before our eyes. Help guide this movement through the many transitions that it needs to go through, individually and corporately. In Jesus' name, amen. I have a quote on the board. Testimony to the Church, Volume 5. We've got a problem with the translation, if you wait one moment. Someone lets me know when I can begin. Sure. I'm waiting for a translator. Check, translator. Monica, it's not ready yet, I don't think. Oh, all good now? Okay. So I've got a Spirit Prophecy quote on the board, 5 Testimonies, page 216 in the English. So I just want to read this. It's a passage that I hope most of us are familiar with. In the movement, it's been studied and discussed many times. But perhaps it's a quote, like many other old quotes, that is no longer used. What are you doing, brethren, in the great work of preparation? Those who are uniting with the world are receiving the worldly mold. And are preparing for the mark of the beast. Those who are distrustful of self, who are humbling themselves before God and purifying their souls by obeying the truth, these are receiving the heavenly mold and preparing for the seal of God in their foreheads. When the decree goes forth and the stamp is impressed, their character will remain pure and spotless for eternity. Now is the time to prepare. The seal of God will never be placed upon the forehead of an impure man or woman. It will never be placed upon the forehead of the ambitious, world-loving man or woman. It will never be placed upon the forehead of men and women of false tongues or deceitful hearts. All who receive the seal must be without spot before God. Candidates for heaven. Go forward, my brethren and sisters. I can only write briefly upon these points at this time. Merely calling your attention to the necessity of preparation. Search the scriptures for yourselves, that ye may understand the fearful solemnity of the present hour. Does anybody have any idea when this was written, when Testimonies to the Church Volume 5 is written, stroke published? Anybody have an idea? If you put your hand up so I can focus and see. So no one has any thoughts on it? So it's in the 1888 history. If that's the case, when she says the solemnity of the present hour, it's happening in her, in the present for her. And is it reasonable to say that the hour she refers to is the dispensation that they are in? Would you be okay with that? So if I say the hour, it means the dispensation. Does anybody disagree with that idea? So they're in the present dispensation, which is solemn. And she says we need to search the scriptures for ourselves in order to make the necessary preparations for the future. She begins this statement. We have just cut into a long passage. So it's at the top of this paragraph. She says, what are you doing in the great work of preparation in the 1888 history? What dispensation would you call that? How would you describe it? We know it's pre-Sunday law. Or do we? Maybe it's post-Sunday law. Where would you place this on a line? Tamina? Prior to the Sunday law. Curtis? I'm asking about a line or terminology that we would use. So Curtis says the agitation of the Sunday law. That's what this dispensation is in. Anybody got a problem with that or a sorry? Sure, that's fine, but it's one that we use too. My question was to try to get us to understand where they would place this statement in our history. So would you be comfortable to place it in the agitation as well? Arian said yes. So does anybody else have any different position? Or perhaps most of you don't have a position. So if we were to draw a line a very basic, simple one. And we called it the line of the 144,000. We could populate that line. Denisa, could you populate that line for us? You can get help, it's fine. $19.89, 2001, Sunday law. Thank you. Muriel, could you place the three angels, their arrival, please? So I'll put 1A here. I'll put 2A here. And I'll put 3A here. Does any, put your hand up if you disagree with that. Okay, so some people disagree. Put your hands up again if you disagree. Okay, so several people disagree. Radka, where would you put 1A, 2A, 3A? Just shout out. Show me with your fingers. Radka? Radka? Yes. Just show me with your fingers which number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the first angel. Which number? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? 1? Okay, so that's, you agree with that? Number 2? Which number? For those online, they're consulting, which you're not supposed to do. Which number? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 for number 2. Are you going to come up? I'm going to come up. Just put it underneath here, wherever you want to put it. And what waymarks are these? Can I have a name for these waymarks? Names? Raphiopanium or something else? You don't know? Okay. So she thinks it's between 2001 and Sunday Law, but she doesn't know what the waymarks are. Did I ask you who taught you this? Who was your teacher? Or is it like your group discussion? Christian, you disagreed as well, yeah? I'll ask you next. Yeah, I want to know who themselves were. I taught you this. Okay, so this is on me. I won't go any further. So my vote's on the red. Christian? 1A is correct. 2A, correct. 3A here. By now, we should start getting worried. So no one's following the leadership. Or, well, one person is. Who else disagreed? Oh, who was that, by the way? I've forgotten who that was. Who was the black? Muriel, thank you. So, who disagreed with Muriel? Mark? Just throw out the numbers to me, the way marks. Just say, just tell me 1A and give me the dates or the waymark numbers. Yes. Number 2. Okay, so you're here. So you're the same as Christian. Okay, great. Gabriella? Oh, like this. Oh, you said between them. Oh, here. So you're with Muriel and Mark. Christian. Oh, sorry, with Christian. Yes, yes, sorry. Um, Andreas, did you have your hand up? Who had their hand up? You disagreed with Muriel. You're with the green one as well. Okay, so you disagree with Muriel. Muriel, any comeback? You still firm? Yes? Okay. Anyone else? Just tell us the numbers, Raquel. Tell me where this one goes. 1A, where does 1A go? Okay, so 1A is 1989. So you don't know where 2 is. And 3? No, I want A, not E. Well, it might be, but tell us where you think it is. Okay? And you don't know where, sorry, and you don't know where 2 goes. Okay. Anyone else? Nobody? Arian? Oh, okay, this one. Okay. Janice? You're not sure? Not on any of them? You're not even sure of that one? Okay, so Janice is sure on that one and this one. Okay. So most people agree with 1A and 2A, except me, apparently. Uh, and there's a disagreement on 3A. Muriel, is this standard teaching in your fellowship that 3A is at the Sunday law? So if I had to ask one of your other leading teachers, would you all come up with the same answer? Yes. Okay. Shemaine, you agree with that? Okay. So I didn't intimate that you're a leading teacher, but that was a joke. English one. Okay. So the French are firm on this, but everyone else disagrees. Vadine? Which one? Okay. Thomas. With anything? Okay. But you're firm on these two, but you're not sure about the third angel. Okay. Pascal? Okay. Pascal, Pascal agreed with Muriel. As one of the leading teachers in France. Tell me your logic of why the third angel arrives at the Sunday law and not before. Your model or your logic, your reason. So Pascal said it's based upon her reading of Spirit of Prophecy. And Christian said, based upon her reading of Spirit of Prophecy, it's here. So we need a little bit of a more refined answer. Who wants to offer one for 3A? Who said that, Mark? So you're saying 3A is at the Sunday law? Oh no, yeah, I want this one. I want someone to defend this. Explain that. Because the French all seem to be consistent with that, and most everyone else disagrees with it. So I wanted the French to defend the logic for that. Who wants to have a go? Oh, are you going to defend them or attack them? Because you disagree. Before Arian speaks, you can't say it's here and then explain why they. I'll go with Shemaine. Tell me why the third angel arrives at the Sunday law. Revelation 14:9. Revelation what? So there's a chapter in Great Controversy called the Great Warning. And based upon your reading of these, you place the arrival at the Sunday law. I was a bit tricky because Christiane is obviously French. She disagrees with that. Why is this wrong, Christian? Why is this wrong? Don't tell us why you're right. Tell us why they're wrong. To place what? I don't care about E. I want A. So Christian was saying she was speaking about the empowerment of the third. And I said, let's stick with the arrival because it becomes dangerous if we work backwards. So tell me why this is wrong. The third or the threes? The third or the three? Because of the work of the third angel, the work of the third angel has to finish. You're still going to 3E with all your arguments. If I follow your logic, you've got 3E here. No? Where's your 3E? Here. So harvest is here. It finishes before harvest. Where? At the Sunday law. So you said the third angel finishes or empowers at the. Okay. So you want to put 3A here, 3E here, and 3E it swells into a loud cry. Oh, so you're not sure now. Oh. Arian, you had it here? Tell me why they're wrong. Yes. Oh, sorry. I was waiting for him to finish his thought. He says in Millerite history, the third angel of the message arrives on October 1844, and the Sunday law is 1850. Therefore, the third angel arrives before the Sunday law. That's his argument, his defense. Where did you get that from, Arian? So Arian said he gets that from Spirit of Prophecy and our construction of their line. So for a Millerite, is October 22nd the third angel's arrival or the close of probation? Okay. So Ellen White says October 44 is the arrival of the third angel. And does she say that 1850 is the Sunday law? Or or we can infer that. But your argument is that even if it's 1888, that it's still before the Sunday law. Is that correct? But whatever you do, the arrival is before any Sunday laws that we could even think of. Curtis? Go ahead. Oh, I'll wait a second. I want him to finish his thought, then I'll do it in English. So for Ellen White, she's living in one history, and she's not going to cut or chop her line to in the way that we do it. And carry on your thought. So wherever we put the date for the Sunday law, the third angel arrives in October 44. And Ellen White's never said that that is a Sunday law. If you're in that year, it's not the third angel arrival, because they see it as either the second advent or the close of probation. They view it differently. But Ellen White looks back on it. Why is this the arrival of the third angel conceptually, Curtis? So you say the truth is opened up to them. What truth?
The truth of the Sabbath.
So the Sabbath truth is opened up.
Mhm.
I'll put the sanctuary then, if that helps you. Sorry. Does anybody have a quote for this? Arrival of the third angel is October 44. So I want to come back to the French members. They're showing you an argument from Millerite history that it's pre-Sunday law. Tamina, you had something to say earlier? We can go back. My question is, which one is the correct? This is the arrival of the third angel. Tell me why.
There was a time where we realized that the second and the third angel, they come on multiple lines. They come at the same way marked together.
Just give us one. We don't need multiple.
Remember Christ's baptism.
Christ's baptism. So Christ's baptism is going to mark out that the second and the third arrive at the same time.
Don't ask me to defend it.
Don't defend that. So I can't go any further because you won't defend it. So why do we have such a big difference? Muri, did you give your reason for why it's the Sunday law? I don't think you did.
Jusqu'à 14, effectivement. Ah, you had to translate for me. Qui c'est qui traduit?
Personne.
Because for me, comment je m'arrête? I stop in the 11, Revelation 14, and after in the great controversy, the 38th chapter.
That's this one?
The final,
Oh, the final warning. Is that the great warning?
yes, the great warning.
And you're going to read something for us?
Yes. 605 on
Oh,
two.
got a page.
And for me, I can't accept, enfin, I don't understand the line with the third angel in October 44 and the Sunday law after, because for me,
You don't understand. Tell me what you do understand. No, not
oh, okay.
tell me what you do understand.
And I give you my answer.
So you've quoted some reference.
Yeah.
Do you mind paraphrasing where you read that it's at the Sunday law?
Alors, c'était quoi, là? Non. When I read this paragraph, I understand that the third angel arrived at the Sunday law.
Can you just paraphrase where she says that?
The last sentence.
You've got to tell me what you see in the paraphrase. Hurry up.
I can't speak French.
I don't mind if you do it in French, but tell me, someone have to translate it for me. Or if you give us a
Tu peux
reference, I can
traduire?
find it in English.
Ouais. Voilà. Ou Vadim, tu traduis? Non, alors je vais le prendre en français. Voilà. Parce que quand il dit que l'observation du sabbat, elle met en lien l'observation du sabbat
She's putting link the Sabbath of celebration
avec le troisième ange.
with the third angel.
C'est pour ça que je fais le lien entre l'arrivée du troisième ange et la loi du dimanche.
That's why I'm doing the link with the arrival of the third angel
Parce qu'elle
and the Sunday law.
Parce qu'elle dit la question
Paragraph, she's speaking of the third angel.
Is everybody persuaded by that argument?
Yes.
Who said no? So Curtis says that's not a persuasive argument. Why?
Because the sentence that she read,
Give us it in English, the reference.
the GC 605 paragraph 3, says as the question of Sunday service is approaching and is being agitated.
1 second, I'll find it and then I'll read it.
Okay.
So we disagree in how we read Great Controversy, chapter 38, the final warning. 605 paragraph 3. What dispensation is this in, Muriel? It's context. What dispensation is that in? Pre-Sunday law or post-Sunday law? Before? Okay, so before. So do you agree before? So we all agree this is before. So this is before the Sunday law. And she says, before, in the past, those who taught the third angel's message were considered to be crazy people. Their predictions were not believed. Then it says, but as the question of enforcing the Sunday observance enforcing Sunday, which is widely agitated, people now start believing it. Then it says, and the third message will produce an effect which he could not have had before. So Muriel, it said the third angel could not have produced this effect before. Is that because it didn't exist before, or it couldn't do something before when it existed? Because your logic has said this, before Sunday law, there is no third angel. It's not there. Here on earth, it's in heaven. So if it hasn't even arrived yet, it could never have done a work. And yet her statement says, the third angel will produce an effect that the third angel couldn't have produced before. So if the third angel wasn't there, how could it have ever produced an effect? Does that logic make sense, even if you disagree with it?
Your logic.
Okay, so is that how you're reading it, Curtis? If you read her statement, even though she doesn't say it explicitly, she infers that the third angel was here before. And when I say before, Muriel, what is it before? Before what?
Ben, before the Sunday law, justement.
So Muriel says before the Sunday law. And Curtis says before? Curtis says before the Sunday law. I don't remember. I said, she just says, could not have had it before. And I said, before what? So 2 Sunday laws. One moment. Is Arian here? Or Mark? Before, what is the before? Before what? Already said. Before what, Mark?
Sunday law.
You say Sunday law as well.
Sunday law as well. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Are you going to say before what? Before what?
October 2020. Because the third angel, when Ellen White wrote this quotation, it was in 1911 or 1888. So, and she placed already the third angel in October 2022, 1844. So maybe she's referring to this, so it's the arrival of the third angel at this time period. I don't know, but maybe.
It seems to me, Shemaine, that you've moved away from this model.
I can't see.
You've moved away from the third angel at the Sunday law. You're bringing it back.
I just answered that question. You said before what? So I said, if I follow the logic of Ellen White, or she's coming through all the history, Miller Reed until 1911.
Okay. Jonathan, do you have any? If you've been following through? No? Okay. Lisanne?
I think this sentence says, oh, sorry. I think the sentence says there's agitation of the Sunday law, and before this agitation, it could have not had this power.
So tell me what the before is. Before what?
Before the agitation of the Sunday
Before
law.
the agitation. So that's what Curtis has been.
Dancing around.
That's what Curtis has been desperate to say.
It's dancing around.
I want us to read carefully, if you're able to. I agree with Lisanne that the before is not before the Sunday law, it's before the agitation of the Sunday law. Lisanne said if you read the sentence, you can see contextually she means before the present time. Not before a future event. So she's already marking, I think Lisanne is saying, that the third angel arrives before the agitation. So if you can see that, Muriel, now that you're rereading it, can you see that she says before the agitation, the third angel was weak. But now the agitation has come. Now the third angel is beginning to be believed. Separate to what will happen in the Sunday law history. Tell me your thoughts, Muriel.
So if I understand what you say, that that means the third angel arrived before the agitation.
That's what Lisanne said. Yes. That's what you
Do-
said, yes?
Mike.
I think before the agitation, the third angel could not have had this effect that it now has. So it kind of arrives with the agitation. So then it has its effect at that moment, at least.
If it hadn't arrived before the agitation,
Then it would, okay, it would just before the agitation.
I don't care how before, it's before.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you become logically inconsistent. So Lisanne has agreed. The third angel arrives before agitation. And before that, couldn't do anything. Because external events didn't verify the third angel's message.
All right.
She didn't quite say it that explicitly, but I'm adding. Muriel?
Where is the agitation? So,
The agitation is here before the Sunday law.
yeah, oui.
I'm not trying to create a waymark.
Oh.
You gave me this reference and several people, not me, several people put this reference here without marking what it is in our literal history. And they have said, if that's the agitation, the third angel arrived before that. Now, the agitation could be here. I don't know. But it's definitely before the Sunday law. And I guess they might argue the third cannot arrive before the second arrives. Which means that the third has to arrive in the 2001 to Sunday law dispensation but it was here before the agitation. I think that's several people's arguments. So what do you think, Muriel? I'm not asking you to agree because you need to think about it, but do you see the logic? So you see the logic, and the logic is based upon the reading of that passage that you gave to us. And these other people have read this differently to how you had read it before. But if I understand you correctly, when you read it now, you can see their perspective. Is that fair enough? Vadim? When I asked you earlier, you said you take the French position. And I wasn't sure if that was the green one or the black one. I gave you the benefit of the doubt. After listening to Muriel's testimony now, where would you place the third angel?
It depends.
Go ahead. He said it depends.
So to make it short, we will it comes before the agitation.
Okay, so if it comes before the agitation, do I need to repeat if you're on the mic?
What?
Do I need to repeat what you said if you're speaking? On the
If
mic?
I speak in English, it's okay.
Okay, so you can translate straight. Yeah. Can it come before the second?
It's not logical if it comes before the second.
Because then it would be the second.
Obviously, the third is in. No,
Third is the third because it comes after the second.
yeah, logically,
Okay. So it has to be in this dispensation,
yes.
and its arrival is before the agitation.
It seems so.
So you've just agreed with everyone else now. Okay. Does anybody have any thoughts or comments?
Can I ask a question?
You can. Once.
Yeah.
Once? Okay.
Because I didn't
Yeah.
have them ask before.
How does this work with, as I understood it, it was like Elder Jeff was the first angel and he started in 1989, and then the second is you and the third is Elder Tess. But then wouldn't it be like the second 2012 and the third 2018? Or...
So the question is, how do we place these models in reference to human beings? Elder Jeff, myself, and Tess. And I don't know, which is why I take no questions, because I don't know the answers. Any other thoughts or comments? Tamina?
Just because we know 2014 was the son-in-law. We would know that the third angel at least would have had to come before 2014.
Dann wissen wir, dass der dritte Engel zumindest vor 2014 hätte ankommen müssen.
On which line?
The first line. Yeah, afterwards.
Not on this line.
Not on that line.
So your statement is, I think, redundant.
Okay.
Unless you're saying that, because you haven't proven anything by that statement. I don't think you can put a 2014 Sunday law here and use it as an argument.
That's the priest line he has written up there.
That's 144,000, but she's correct if you're looking at the
Muriel.
priest line.
Oh, I see, I see.
And
It
he's
was
written
just
144,000.
questioning a piece of logic that you used. Which was the sequential nature of 1, 2, 3.
That's it. So,
And the inference was that it has to come after 2. And if you do that, then green is also wrong. Because if it's sequential, 3 comes after 2, not 1. You don't count 1, 2, 3 like at the same point. If you use that logic.
Did everybody understand what he said? He's arguing that the second and the third arrive at the same time, so it's not sequential. The only reason I would argue against what you've just said is if you go to Revelation 14, it says the third comes after. And I think you can actually work a pretty good logic to actually explain this apparent discrepancy, which is not one. But that's for another time, I think. Anyone else? Someone had their hand up, or Muriel? Sorry, yes. Someone passed the microphone to him.
Is the Sunday law arrive after the agitation?
The question is, does the Sunday law arrive after its agitation?
No, is a development. Is my development. Is the beginning of my phrase.
It's
It's not a
statement.
question.
Okay, so the Sunday law arrives after the agitation statement.
Yes. So it cannot arrive in 2001.
What cannot arrive in 2001?
The third angel.
Why can't it?
Because you put the hesitation just before the Sunday law.
And? You've said agitation, Sunday law, agitation, third angel.
Oui?
She said
Oui.
agitation, Sunday law. No, in sequence. No, just as a statement. Not then, just agitation and Sunday law. And then she said, like it was the same statement, agitation and third angel. And it sounds to me that you're saying the third angel and the Sunday law become synonymous. And I think 605 says they're not synonymous. So either I don't understand your point or I don't agree with it. I'm not sure which.
I don't understand why the third angel is in 2001. Because you say. Because you say, I understand, you say that the hesitation is after. After the Sunday law. You cannot have.
Let me finish.
Oui, mais là.
I didn't say It was how people read GC 605. Lisanne said, here is agitation. And she said the third angel came before. That's just her reading. So if you read it differently, that's fair enough. But she hasn't used any logic. She's just used grammar. And the context of the passage, I think that's how she's approached it. So I guess I'm not 100% clear which bit you disagree with. Okay, because what she has not done, she has not taken a concept or a model. She'd have to do that afterwards. Because on the testimony of two, something is established. What she did is just the thus saith the Lord. Literal reading of a literal passage. That's my characterization of what she did. How would you describe it, Lisanne? Similarly or differently?
Yeah, just grammar, just taking the sentence and see what it says and where the before is pointing to.
Einfach Grammatik.
And I think Curtis did the same. He just read the words and he reads it differently to you. So if you're going to take a second testimony or a second witness, where would you go? Someone said something? So someone said the Bible. Where in the Bible? We'll go to 2016, 9/11. That was the date, yeah. You go to the wheat and the tear study. And that passage has been studied extensively. Tamina, what does that study show us with respect to these angels? Where'd you put 1, 2, 3, according to this study?
Hier im Kontext von diesem Studium.
It depends on the work they do.
Oh, just tell us where they go.
Und der
The first angel 1989 to 9/11.
erste Engel.
Yeah.
1989, 2001.
Second,
The second at 2001.
2001.
And the third also 2001.
Okay.
Der dritte auch 2001.
So that's a 7-year-old study, which has this green here. So maybe people should revisit the study of Matthew 13 with respect to the arrival and the empowerments. I'll bring this subject up again tomorrow to see if we've come into alignment, all of us, so that you have some time to think about it. I want to apologize to Radka for teaching her this, because I don't agree with that. So I said something funny. I'm sorry. So that I've taken the red off. So the reason I wanted to discuss this was 5T216. And what did that say? So it says, what are you doing in the great work of preparation? Is this pre or post Sunday law? Pre. We know it's pre because no Sunday law has been issued in the United States when this was written. So we know that it's pre-Sunday law. Everybody who's united with the world, its perspectives, they're going to receive the worldly mold. They're going to be molded in the same mindset as the world. Preparing for the mark of the beast. When's the mark of the beast? When? Where do you place the mark of the beast? Sunday law, Sunday law. After the Sunday law. So not at the Sunday law, but sometime afterwards. Progressive. So where would it begin, the mark, if it's progressive?
Že to je období, progres.
I understand it's progressive. I want to know where you begin the progression.
Kedy, no? Na tom milníku. At the waymark.
Which one?
No, nedělní zákon. Sunday law. Sunday law.
Okay, so Sunday law. Pascal? Mark of the beast?
I think it is a progression, but I don't know if I am right, but I think it begin a little bit of before the Sunday law, but.
So the mark of the beast is before the Sunday law?
Because it is a progression and it is a processus in the development of the character. I don't know if I am right, but.
Sylvia? Sylvia. Oh, I may have got your name wrong. I'm sorry. Sylvie.
La loi du dimanche aussi.
Sunday law. So does anybody disagree with Sunday law? Except perhaps Pascal. Rodolfo?
Yeah,
One second.
Kommt es ja noch, ne? Das Gesetz bei den 144.000 kommt ja noch.
Are you not just able to tell me the waymark when the mark of the beast arrives?
Es ist ja schon bei den Priestern 2014.
It already arrived for the priests 2014.
This is not the line of the priests.
Das ist nicht die
It's line of the 144,000. This line, where's the mark of the beast?
Auf dieser Linie ist am Sonntagsgesetz.
Sunday
Aber wir
law.
sehen es ja schon vorher, weil wir ja Priester sind.
Because we already see it before, but we already see it before because we are the priests.
Wie es anschwillt.
we see before how it swells because we are the priests.
Wir haben doch schon Ereignisse 2014, wo Sonntagsgesetz.
We already had
See.
several
You can't-
events in
You
2014.
can't do what you're doing.
Du kannst,
You can't take another line,
du kannst nicht eine andere Linie nehmen,
which is smaller than this one, or a fractal, and superimpose that, and then create waymarks on this line in the way you're doing. There is no line of the priests, only this one. Ellen White makes a statement, which she will talk about the 144,000 like we do. All she doesn't know is these two dates. She knows all of these three events. So when she speaks of the mark of the beast, I think you said she speaks of the Sunday law. I think he said that she speaks of the Sunday law. Good. So we all agree it's the Sunday law. Those who are distrustful of self, who humbled themselves before God, purify their souls. What is their soul, by the way? She says, purify your soul. What is your soul? Character? Okay, so people are saying characters. We'll go with that. By obeying by obeying the truth, they're receiving the heavenly mold and preparing for the seal of God. So where do you mark the seal of God? Because everyone said that this is the mark of the beast. Where's the seal of God?
I would say it's on the same way mark.
Here. So we receive the seal of God at the same place. Everybody disagree with that? Christian, you disagree? Go ahead. Wait for the mic. Wait for the mic.
Just because we have two groups, the church and the world. So you can have one at the Sunday law and the other one at the close of probation. Oh, yeah.
So just tell me where the seal of God is.
Sunday law for the church. Yeah.
You think that's what Ellen White's doing here? Like for the church, one for the church, one for the world, all
no.
that stuff?
No. No.
So tell me where she's placing this.
I don't have the...
She's still reading. Sorry. Can someone, we've got two mics, I think. Can someone send one back to Lisanne? I've got to rush you a bit, Christian, sorry. Sunday law, so no change. Curtis, you wanted to change? Okay, so Sunday law. Lisanne?
Think it's also at the same time, at least, as the mark of the beast, because it says one group are receiving the worldly mold and preparing for the mark of the beast, and the others are humbling themselves and preparing for the seal of God. So it looks like she sets those two groups on two sides, but parallel.
What methodology do we call that? Compare and contrast? Juxtapositioning? I'd go with juxtapositioning because you're forcing two diametrically opposite ideologies together. But we'll go with compare and contrast. When the decree goes forth, what's the decree? Sunday law. Anybody got a different answer? Anyone? Just tell us what the decree is if it's not Sunday law, Curtis.
Close of probation.
Okay, so Curtis says when it says when the decree goes forth, that's the decree of the close of probation.
It's the following on words that give me that impression.
Okay, but you're saying that the decree is the close of probation.
The decree that it is finished. It's not mentioned in the text.
Whatever it
Yeah.
says afterwards, you're saying the decree is the close of probation.
Yeah,
Who makes that decree?
Michael.
Sorry. He said that the decree is the close of probation. And I said, who makes that decree? He said, God. Who makes or declares the mark of the beast?
The government.
Humans.
Yeah, humans.
So you're
Broken
saying
rules.
that there's two different decrees by two different people in the same context.
Yeah, it doesn't work. The rules don't.
Okay, so Curtis is still going to stick with this, with
Can-
the seal at the Sunday law.
Can I ask a question?
Let me finish the sentence. When the decree goes forth and the stamp is impressed, their character will remain pure and spotless for eternity. And that's why he was stuck. Because he wants to place that at close of probation. No change. Does everybody see that? Has anybody got any comments or want to say something? Besides Curtis? Go ahead.
The comment, just as I'm working through what it could be. Either this sentence is speaking sequentially or it's speaking of things happening at the same time.
Which things are happening at the same time?
When the decree goes forth.
Oh, got
and
that. Sorry. You said, repeat your point and give her a chance to translate.
Either this sentence is talking about two things that happen sequentially, so the decree going forth and the stamp is impressed, or it's talking about them happening at the same time.
One of the things this movement has taught for a long time, which is embedded in this study, is what? Can't whisper, put your hands up if you have something to say.
Is done at close of probation?
No.
No?
In math, In Matthew 13, lots of things happen before the reapers come. How do the reapers know who to reap and who to burn? Because they can see. So they can see something that's already in front of them. They can see who the wheat are at harvest, which is here. That's not harvest? No, the reapers. She said the reapers. The reapers can see here. If you read the passage, there's another group who can see something as well. They said, Master, a criminal has done something that we couldn't see before, but we can see now. So you can see something before the close of probation, and those wheat never become tares. So this passage may look like close of probation statement, but what we need to consider in closing, when you read Ellen White's statement here and you put it into our context, it's now in the time of preparation that you need to get your worldview correct. I agree that there's going to be some progression on the Sunday law. Yeah, on the issue of the Sunday law. Some increase of knowledge, if you would care to call it that. So there may be some flexibility of when this would apply to you individually. But Matthew 13 and a plain reading of God's word says your character is set at the Sunday law. If it wasn't, then what would the Sunday law history be? Time of probation? Of preparation, yes. Be the time of preparation. That will destroy all of the passages that we've read. So I hope this has been instructive to us. I hope I can change this. I hope you take the opportunity to look at Matthew 13. Oh, 1 second. There's a whole booklet on Matthew 13. Sale at a very competitive price.
So when you say So when you say we have to have, you should have our worldview set up or changed, what do you mean by worldview?
So we have to take Ellen White's statements, which is talking about, we'll say, a Catholic Protestant worldview, or an atheistic Protestant worldview. And we have to relook at those words in the context not of a Sunday law, not of a Christian fight between two denominations, but of a fight with respect to what we call equality. or human rights. We need to understand human rights correctly before the Sunday law, so that when it happens, we will already have been settled into these ideas of what is right and what is wrong. With respect to how we look at one another and treat one another. And I'll leave it to yourselves to decide as you look around, or you look in the mirror, how well we're doing. If you think that your worldview is changing sufficiently and quickly enough, so that's how I understand these passages. When she speaks about humbling, distrustful, purifying, and obeying. We need to take those words and contextualize them from a 19th century pro-Christian view to one that's appropriate to the 21st century. This purifying of the soul, this doesn't allow people of color and people who are white in the United States to commingle. Even at this late stage, Ellen White is completely fine with the segregation of the races. And we've moved on at least one, if not two, tests beyond that one. So that's how I would read this passage and implement it. Let's close with prayer. Dear Lord, I want to thank you that you have taught me in this class where the placing of the angels should be, that you have guided us through inspiration, through methodology, and it's a privilege for me to be before you, experiencing this moment. You have shown each of us in our lives and in your word that when we come together to holy convocations such as this, we can relearn truths and we can unlearn mistakes. On behalf of everybody here, I thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.